NBA has suspended
the 2020 Toyota AFL,
the Hyundai A-League, the NBL Grand Final Series,
Tokyo 2020.
Hey Greg, how you doing?
I am great, Erin, and yourself?
Good, thank you. Now, you have a great number of achievements behind you. Tell me a bit about you and your accolades.
Yeah, been very fortunate enough to have played for the Perth Wildcats for 10 seasons and just retired formally last year, and was fortunate enough to be the vice captain of 4 championship winning sides. I won 4 NBL championships along that way, and was a runner-up grand final MVP in my very first championship, which I think was 2014, and very fortunate with the way my professional career transpired.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit about the work you are doing with A Stitch in Time and what you are trying to achieve with the organisation?
The central focus has always been about placing an importance on mental health and how we can educate people regarding that, whether that's evidence-based tools and techniques around self-care or advocating other methods of how you can engage with a peer or a family member or a friend on how to have those safe conversations that sometimes may be difficult.
The situation that we are in at the moment with COVID-19, it has affected the whole world, and a large part of this is the disruption of sport. Can you put into perspective for me how big of a problem this can become for athletes and their mental health?
For an athlete, or for anyone really, they've never had to deal with a situation like this. I guess a loss of identity, and that's really what I'm seeing on the evidence-based from professional athletes. I mean, being in that world and that environment, you are in a bubble. Whilst it's a job, just like anyone else has a job from 9 to 5, and you get an income. You're accustomed to living that routine. You're accustomed to waking up at 5:30 to get to the gym, do yoga or stretching for 30 minutes, to then going into your weights program, to then going upstairs and watching video for an hour and a half, and it's regimented. You don't generally go away from that, And with that, for a lot of athletes right now, they've sort of lost their purpose, their identity in a way, what they're known for, and that's being professional athletes, whether that's a football player, a rugby player, or a swimmer. And there isn't closure either. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of what's the next step? Should I even be doing that? You're obviously going to have your motivation levels so be compromised.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, the lack of closure, there also is almost a sense of a lack of control. Even when an athlete is injured, they still have some extent of control, you could say, about how well they do rehab and recover. Do you think that the lack of ability to do anything about this situation is really putting that extra pressure on?
You're right. There is no control. For an AFL athlete right now that's doing that, you can't. Yeah, you're still wondering what's going on, and unfortunately, with this landscape, it changes significantly from day to day, and it could change. They could go tomorrow and say, hey, we're back, and then there's a cluster or an outbreak, and they go, well, no, we can't do that anymore. And so, that uncertainty is huge for an athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time, Greg. I really appreciated having a chat to you, and all the best with everything in the future.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you again.